We saw Jabari being a bit of a snake in episode 5 with him copying Tariq's work from his assignment, but what consequences will this have for him going forward, and what will Tariq do when he finds out? And I'm also talking a little bit about Zeke and Professor Milgram, so welcome back to MovieBot and let's talk about the professors. So I hope you're all having a great week so far. As usual, there's still a few storylines that I still want to break down, and this was one of them, Tariq and Jabari, and what's going to happen going forward when we saw Jabari copying Tariq's work, because there's no doubt that they're setting up something, and I'm going to be going through what could potentially happen in this video. But if you're new to the channel, then welcome to MovieBot, and if you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button. But with that being said, let's rewind it all the way back to the very first episode, because it was a point raised by Mara, and towards the end of the episode when Tariq was looking up at who Lorenzo Tejada was, just before this he had an email from Professor Milgram with all of the books that he's going to be studying, and if you notice, they're pretty much the same as the title of all the episodes: The Stranger, Great Expectations, The Prince. But these are all of the books that Tariq is studying, and it's no coincidence that they've chosen these books. But I'm going to be going into a lot more detail on these titles of these books and what they mean in a separate video, because you may have noticed how I've been speaking about how when Tariq is explaining his interpretation of the books, it relates to him and it relates to the theme of the episode, like when Tariq was talking about the prince and his interpretation of the book. And I spoke about this in my episode 4 review and recap, so I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. But yeah, as I said, I'll go into it in a lot more detail in a separate video. But Jabari and Tariq, and a quick reminder for those who may have forgot, there's been another common theme that we've been seeing throughout season 1 of Power Book 2, and it's Tariq being late. I mentioned in my very first episode review and recap when we saw him being late to the meeting with Simon Stern that I'm sure it wasn't going to be the first and last time that we saw him being late to something, and he's been late to all his classes all season. And when he turned up late to Jabari's lesson, he rejected his paper and gave him double the amount to do. And I don't know about you guys, but Jabari, he comes across like he's a really jealous character. But let's read his character description for those who haven't read his character description. It reads: once a rising star in the literary world, Jabari Reynolds finds himself in the outskirts of fame after the failure of his second novel, leading him to accept a position at Stansfield University and reunite with fellow professor and former flame Carrie Milgram. As one of 3 professors in the exclusive Canonical Studies program, Jabari imposes himself as a father figure to the disinterested Tariq, but he quickly finds that it's difficult to know someone who wants to remain unknown. So that's Jabari's description, and we've pretty much seen everything play out with his failure of his second book, his relationship with Professor Milgram, which I'm going to be coming to in just a moment as well. But he's trying to be a father figure to Tariq, which he will never accept. I think the last thing Tariq wants is another father figure, especially after he resented his own for so long. But the thing is with Tariq, even though he doesn't know it, he's becoming just like his father. But Tariq, he turned up late to Jabari's class once again, and his 15-page assignment turned into a 25-page assignment, and the minute he mentioned Tariq's parents, Tariq flipped a switch and told Jabari that he needs to do his job instead of trying to be his dad. And Jabari was being warned that if his next book doesn't sell, then he's going to be let go by his agent. So Jabari is really feeling the heat, and Tariq got his assignment to him, which we later see in the episode. And when Jabari is writing his next novel, or should I say copying for his next novel, because I don't think he's just going to be copying a few sentences from Tariq's assignment, he'll be copying a lot more. And guess what? This next novel from Jabari will probably be a hit. And when it does hit, I think Tariq will read it, or even Carrie reads it. Carrie will realize that this novel is not Jabari, and Tariq will realize that this novel is written by him. So I'm sure this isn't the last we've seen of this, and it's setting up something bigger in the sense that once Tariq finds out that Jabari has been plagiarizing his work, I'm sure he'll be blackmailing him to pass his class, because all Tariq will want to do is pass his Canonical Studies and graduate in 3 years so he can claim Ghost Inheritance. But there's another story in play as well. I said Jabari comes across like he's a really jealous character, and the only one person that he can't keep his hands off is Carrie. But I don't think Professor Milgram is going to be giving in to Jabari now, especially because she's got a new man on the block, and that's none other than Zeke. There's no doubt that Zeke and Professor Milgram wasn't a one-time thing. I think they'll continue to mess around, and there could be consequences on both sides if they continue. Zeke is playing a dangerous game because, I've mentioned it before, he's Monet's golden child, and he's got scouts coming to watch him, and the last thing he needs is to get kicked out of Stansfield for messing around with a professor. And then we have Professor Milgram. Not only has she got her job that would be on the line, but she's got a bit of a jealous man that's constantly after her, and that's Jabari. And well, if Jabari finds out about Zeke, which he may well do at some point, he could end up hurting Zeke, because one thing's for sure, there really is no happy endings in power, even though Zeke isn't in the drug game, because Monet keeps him away from that side of the world. Could Jabari ruin his chances of making the NBA, because that really would be too easy for the Tejadas. I've spoken about how he's Monet's golden child already, and he's their way out of the drug game if he makes it playing ball, and that's why I think he won't make it, because That's just too easy, and it really wouldn't be fun to watch either. So I think we could all see Jabari hurting Zeke if he finds out about Zeke and Carrie, which will ruin Zeke's chances of being scouted, and then Jabari is going to have Monet to deal with. And then there's trouble, because I think one of the professors won't make it out alive this season, because if he hurts Zeke, then it may stop him from playing ball. Then Monet is going to hand him a death sentence. But I'm going to be doing a separate video on death predictions in the next couple of days, so I'll be doing a death predictions video soon. But I feel Zeke will probably end up blackmailing Carrie as well, because he's not playing ball right now. He needs his grades to come up before he's back on the court. So I think there could be a little bit of blackmail coming into play from Zeke's side as well as Tariq's. And well, if Zeke's getting his grades up through Carrie, then what do the Tahadas need Tariq for? They'd still need him because he's the one making money for Monet. So regardless of what happens with the situation between Carrie and Zeke, Tariq is safe. But I really see Zeke coming back for more and more, and with Carrie being the sex-hungry character she is on the show, maybe they might smash a few more times, but Carrie's a lot older and I think she knows when to say no. So she'll probably just use Zeke for sex while Zeke actually starts falling for her, because we've heard how he prefers older women, and her relationship with Jabari, that's not finished either. So let's link this back in with what I spoke about at the start of the video with Jabari stealing Tariq's work, because I said Carrie will know that this isn't Jabari's work. But what if in a scenario she doesn't realize, she falls for Jabari again, and then Zeke and Tariq let each other in on their secrets, with Zeke smashing Carrie and Tariq knowing about Jabari stealing his work, so they both blackmail the professors. And two other points I wanted to talk about was when Jabari was speaking to Lauren after class in episode 4, The Prince. He got all excited when he was talking about dinner, coming over to Lauren's at her place until she mentioned her parents. So could her secret be that she's been smashing Jabari just to keep her grades up as well? Because we've seen him messing around with a student before. And with Professor Milgram, I think he could get even messier with her potentially getting pregnant with Zeke's baby, but instead of telling Zeke, she could tell Jabari that it's his baby as a way of her covering her tracks with Zeke. And I definitely see something like that playing out, or she'll get pregnant and not even know whose baby it is. Because as I said before, she's a really sex hungry character, so she could be going back and forth with Zeke and Jabari. So I can definitely see a scenario playing out where she gets pregnant either with Zeke's baby, or she just doesn't know whose baby it is. But one thing's for sure, this situation is going to get a lot messier and a lot worse. So let me know what you guys think down below about Jabari stealing Tariq's work and Zeke and Professor Milgram's relationship, because I think both situations could be linked, and Tariq and Zeke, they could find a way of helping each other once they know about each other's situations. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Do you think that Professor Milgram could be pregnant with either Zeke or Jabari's child, or not know whose child it is at all? Let me know what you think down in the comment section, or if you have any other opinions or any other theories, then drop them down below. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, remember to smash the subscribe button as well as giving this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.